Good Wednesday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Conversation Daily News. Glad you all could be with us. Because you have news headlines coming up on this hump day. I have a message from my book, Word That You Is to Live By. In today's Entertainment Spotlight, you're part of my conversation with Tsui and Breves, the YouTube stars and authors behind the new book, Why Do We Sing? You don't want to miss that. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Wednesday headlines. In national news, James and Jennifer Crumbley, parents of Michigan school shooter, sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison for manslaughter, says CNN. The parents of the teenager who killed 4 students in the 2021 school shooting in Oxford, Michigan, were each sentenced Tuesday to 10 to 15 years in prison, weeks after being convicted of manslaughter. James and Jennifer Crumbley, who each had faced up to 15 years in prison, have already been in prison for over 2 years since their arrest in the Detroit warehouse days after the shooting. Though they were tried separately, their sentencing took place together in an Oakland County courtroom. They were the first parents to be held criminally responsible for a mass school shooting committed by their child as the nation continues to grapple with the scourge of gunfire on campus. Before imposing her sentences, the Oakland County Circuit Court judge told families of the victims she could never understand their pain, but assured them she saw what you saw and I heard what you heard at both trials. The convictions, he said, were not about poor parenting. These convictions confirm repeated acts of lack of acts that could have halted an ongoing runaway train, about repeatedly ignoring things that made a reasonable person feel the hair on the back of their neck stand up, the judge said. Opportunity knocked over and over again, louder and louder, and was ignored. No one answered, and these 2 people should have and sure didn't. Matthew said James Crumbley provided unfettered access to guns as well as ammunition in their home, while Jennifer Crumbley glorified the use and possession of these weapons. The Crumbleys addressed the families and the court before sentencing. Earlier Tuesday, parents of the slain students addressed the court and the defendants. After sentencing, Oakland County prosecuting attorney Karen McDonnell said the defendants expressed feeling bad, but what mattered to the families most was an expression of remorse and acknowledgement of the wrongdoing and some sort of reconciliation or apology for that, and that didn't come. In more national news, GOP's Marjorie Taylor Greene delivers fresh threats of ousting Speaker Johnson in scathing rebuke. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene is escalating her criticism of House Speaker Mike Johnson, blistering his leadership in a lengthy letter to colleagues and renewing threats of a snap vote that could remove him from office. As lawmakers returned to work Tuesday from a 2-week spring recess, the fresh onslaught from the Georgia Congresswoman dragged the still new speaker back into the Republican chaos that has defined GOP House control and threatens to grind work to a halt. Johnson may very well be unable to execute the basics of his job. Today, I sent a letter to my colleagues explaining exactly why I filed a motion to vacate against Speaker Johnson, Greene said on social media about the procedural tool that could force a quick vote. Greene, in stark terms, warned Johnson not to reach across the aisle to Democrats for votes he would need to pass pending legislation that hard-right Republicans oppose, particularly aid to Ukraine. That aid package, as well as other agenda items, are in grave doubt. I will not tolerate this type of Republican leadership, wrote Greene, a top ally of presumptive presidential nominee Donald Trump, in the 5-page letter first reported on by the New York Times. The standoff threatens to mire the House in another standstill, saddling the Republican majority with a do-nothing label after months of turmoil that has sent some seasoned lawmakers heading for the exits. In entertainment news, Fantasia Barrino launches entertainment company Rock Soul Productions in partnership with producer Yvonne McNair. Grammy-winning singer, songwriter, actress, and author Fantasia Barrino is launching Rock Soul Productions, an entertainment company formed in partnership with live event producer and artist manager Yvonne McNair. Headquartered in Charlotte, North Carolina, Rock Soul is a full-service operation with divisions centered in the areas of management, production, and entertainment ventures. With Fantasia serving as CEO and McNair as president, Rock Soul seeks to be the intersection where creativity and excellence in entertainment meet. Offering comprehensive management services from strategic career planning to brand development and beyond, tailored to each artist's unique vision and goals, Rock Soul is committed to investing in talent and becoming the ultimate resource in discovering, developing, and elevating artists to new heights in their careers. And finally, in business news, Wall Street steadies as bond yields ease ahead of inflation report. Stocks meandered to a mixed close on Wall Street as traders made their final moves before several potentially market-moving reports later in the week. The S&P 500 edged up 0.1% Tuesday. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was little changed. The Nasdaq Composite inched up 0.3%. Treasury yields eased in a bond market ahead of today's highly anticipated update on inflation at the U.S. consumer level. This week will also bring other inflation data, and several big U.S. companies, including J.P. Morgan Chase and Delta Airlines, will deliver their profit reports for the first 3 months of the year. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's some time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Wednesday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. Ready for your Wednesday wake-up call? Not everyone is going to pat you on the back or wish you well. In fact, you may encounter people today who are intent on doing you harm or breaking you down. Decide to rise above the negativity. Refuse to entertain it. Do not give it any power over you. Now go have an amazing Wednesday. We are part of my conversation coming up with Sam Tsui and Casey Breves in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Stay with us. You're listening to Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with Entertainment Spotlight. YouTube stars and authors Sam Tsui and Casey Breves join me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to discuss their brand new book, Why Do We Sing? Here's a bit of our conversation. Sam, Casey, thank you again for the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Well, look, the pleasure's definitely all mine. Of course, here in Mississippi and in our radio audience here in Atlanta, we're fans of yours. Of course, you've been able to garner fans around the world. But, Sam, I want to ask you, what has it been like for you now as a published author to be able to share this story with the world?
Oh, it's absolutely incredible. Part of the reason I've made music online for as long as I have is to connect with people, and this is a whole new way to do that. But it's at the end of the day, it's still sharing this love of music, love of vocal music, and as parents now, being able to share that with kids around the world is so special.
Yeah, and Casey, I love what Sam said there. One thing I love about you all literally take us around the world, even into our showers, with this book to show the connection that we have with music. Casey, what has it been like for you to see the way that people are responding to it?
It's amazing. I think the message that we want to share is that singing is for everybody. It's for every kid, and it's not just for performers on a stage. There are so many reasons to sing and so many ways to connect with singing, and we hope that that's the response, and that kids can be encouraged to use their voices.
And I think that's a great segue to my next question I wanted to ask, Casey. What was it like for you to discover your voice, not just when it comes to singing, but knowing that you had something to say and to share with the world?
Wow, yeah. I've been singing since I was a little kid. My dad is a pianist, and we sang around the piano, from when I was 3 or 4 years old. And I think growing as an artist and learning how I could, turn that talent into something meaningful for me has been a really amazing process. And especially now, creating music for our daughter and that showcases our family with this book has been really, really beautiful. But it's sort of an ongoing thing. Finding how to continue to use my voice and to explore what I can do with it.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversations Daily News. I'll be back on tomorrow's more news, message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and of course your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, my host Cyrus Webb saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversation Daily News today. Let's go make today amazing. Take care.